Okay, so I'm Michael Lundquist. My project is about my exercise data over the past year. So I chose this topic because I have a lot of data relating to it, because a gym partner and I made a New Year's resolution to go to the gym every week. We've been going almost 3 times a week, every week for the past year. Um, so this is some of the data that we have. So this was actually 2 weeks ago. I'll actually delete this because it doesn't have anything in it. Okay, so what happens is if you hit next week here, it runs a script which generates this week, which as you can see is changing these values. So what it's doing is it's adding 2 pounds to the max weight that I can do, calculated from my previous weight. So it's taking this and calculating a max, and then adding 2 pounds to it and converting it to 15 reps instead of 3 reps. Um, so what happens here is I have all this data, but it's not in the correct format. So what I've been doing, in order to get it to the correct format, you have to translate it from this stuff over to like this for the Google Sheets. Um, but I have a lot of data, so I wanted to see if I had any patterns in it. Um, and after doing this, I think it might actually be an interesting real website to use. Um, because I feel like this would be useful more generally to people to see what their lifts look like over time and see how they've been improving and how much they've been improving and on which workouts. Um, so going forward, I might end up making a website out of this. It would probably be a lot of work, but to make it generally usable, I gotta do authentication and stuff like that. Um, but this does show a lot of patterns in the data, which I will show more about later. Um, so right, I got my data from these spreadsheets. And then I converted into maxes. So each of these is a max. It's not like I didn't actually do 258 by like 10 reps or something. It's like I did this much, and that's according to a formula. I can do this much for a max. Um, yeah, so like I was saying, this format, I had to convert it from this into a CSV like this so that I could work with it. And then I eventually converted that into where CSV from internet into this format where we have series. So each one of these corresponds to one of these. So yeah. So I used Google's combo or Google visualizations combo chart. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with that. Um, what they're doing here is using bar graphs and an average of those bar graphs. I think if you actually look at it, it's just a line, but it's calculated from these. So actually, it's using this column as the average, and then all these are just bars, and then obviously month. So I guess it puts the month down here, and then these are just bars. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with a combo chart. Um, the way I'm using it is with with just scatter. These are all scatter plots. So scatter plots. There's the series types are scatter plots, and then it just adds some trend lines on top of that. Um, so when you click something in the so here, let's get into how it works. Just like an actual demo of the tool. So, right, so I'm showing all the data right now, except split squats. So if I just want to select two of these and then show them, then you can see that my squats are going up and my Romanian deadlifts are going down, which is actually a good thing because these can be you can injure yourself on this workout. So I actually decided to do less weight. This wasn't like I did less weight because I got weaker or injured or something. This was just I changed my mind. Um, but so anyway, yeah. So you can show different workouts over time. And it adds just a little trend line. So if you actually hover over the trend line, it shows the tooltip for the entire trend instead of just the tooltip for the workout, which includes the date and the max. Um, yeah. So this is the important finding of this. So, or at least the data that appeared in, or the trend that appeared in the data. I'm going to remove the incline and Romanian deadlift. Okay, so here's my bench and squat. So on all of these, a general pattern appears when you look at the data like this. Actually, I think squat is probably a better way of seeing this. So what happens is, I get a little bit stronger, and then I have to do a couple workouts at that weight, a couple weeks pretty much, at that weight. But then after a while, that weight gets easier, and then I get a little bit stronger, and then I adjust to that. Then I get stronger, adjust, and now I'm all the way up here because I actually put a lot of effort into making this jump over the past 6 weeks. But now I'm starting to have a problem with it, and then I'm hopefully going to adjust to that weight, and then after that, I'll jump up again. So basically, this is telling me to just relax and not try to keep gaining. Just put a couple weeks in at the weight you're at, and then just get used to it. Which is actually an interesting thing that the data is telling me instead of just asking somebody at the gym or somebody who knows what they're talking about, which they would probably ultimately really say the same thing. Um, but I think it's better when you have the data to back you up. Um, yeah, so that was my big finding about the data. Unfortunately, what I really wanted to do is add how many reps I'm doing. I wanted to size these by how many reps I'm doing, but you can do that in Google Charts, but you have to do it by uh, when the data is formatted um, in series. It's a lot harder to do because a lot of times they'll have uh, in the third series will be the size of the point in the series. So it'll be like these two will be X and Y, and then this one will be the point size. So that's the only way I could find it. And I thought it would just be easy to figure that out before I actually did it, and then I have the data like this now. So it doesn't work, but I don't think it's a big deal because you can still see a clear trend in the data, and it still provides useful information. Um, you could do a lot of other things with series that weren't really relevant to this, but I think it's a good tool to have in the toolbox. And that is it. Thank you.